Okay students, so this is a TI-84 Plus calculator, and I'm going to show you how to get your regression statistics from it. It's a little more powerful than the base model 83, but not quite as powerful as an 89, but it does a lot. So let's turn it on, of course. Now, if you're in your home screen, which is your normal entry screen, you need to press Stat. And then you would want to go to Edit to get into your list menu. I've entered the X data into list 1 and the Y data into list 2. Okay? And those are the standard defaults for X and Y. Now, if you want to calculate regressional statistics, you need to hit your Stat key. And you can get regression statistics from several different functions. You can get the correlation coefficient, the coefficient of determination, and the prediction model from two places. You can either get it in the calc menu, or you can get it in the test menu through linreg t-test. So either way will give you this stuff. Let me get it through the calc menu, and then when I go to get the hypothesis test p-value, I'll show you again that it is indeed there. Now, so I'm in the calc menu in stat. I want linear regression. And there are two options. There's linreg AX plus B, which some books use, but most stat books, and the book that we use, uses linreg A plus BX, where B is the slope. So I'm going to pick that one. It's number 8. And then you can see this calculator is prompting me. Some calculators you can go ahead and press enter, like on this one, and it will use list 1 and list 2 by default. If it doesn't, or if you get an error, you have to manually enter your list by hand. So let's go back in there and show that option. So again, I'm going to go to number 8, and this time I'm going to enter which list I want it to use. This is particularly important for people who have misplaced their default list 1 and list 2, or perhaps renamed them. Okay? So either way, just pressing enter, it will use it list 1, list 2 by default, or you can manually enter it. It gives us A and B and R squared and R. Well, R is the correlation coefficient, and we've talked about what to do with that and how to interpret it. R squared is the coefficient of determination, and we've talked about that and what to do with that and what it means. And then our prediction model is Y. Where the calculator says A, I'm going to replace it with the A they give me, 55.7317, plus BX, so let's replace B with what it is, 5.8943 times X. That's the prediction model. So now I could select a value for X and predict a Y value with it. Okay. Now let's get a hypothesis test p-value. Say we wanted to do a beta test or perhaps a row test for the for regressional statistics. We would go to the stat key, of course, and we have to go over to test. Now let's go down and find linreg t-test. And on this calculator, that is located way down here at number F. So at number F, I'm going to press enter. And it says, do you want your X list to be list 1? Do you want your Y list to be list 2? Of course we do, because that's where our data is. Frequency is 1 because we don't have grouped or stacked data. Usually in simple stat classes, the frequency is always 1 because we don't tend to group our data anymore. Your beta and your rho value. Beta is for the population slope, rho is for the population correlation coefficient. So you would pick your sign in your alternative hypothesis. I'm going to just pick a greater than 0, implying a positive correlation. Reg EQ, don't worry about entering anything into that. That just means your regression equation, do you have one, blah blah blah. And I don't really care about that because I just want a p-value. So I'm going to hit calculate. It reaffirms that your alternative hypothesis was greater than 0. It gives you your test statistic, so if you're doing the critical value method, this calculator will calculate that test statistic for you, which is really nice. It gives us our p-value method, or p-value, which is what I use to do statistics when I have technology that gives me a p-value, because now I just have to compare this to alpha. And if my alpha was 0.01, it would be less, so we'd reject H0, and we'd say based on the evidence there isn't a significant positive correlation. But look at the arrow key, it's pointing down. It says, hey, there's more information down here, do you want to see it? And you can say, oh yes I do, please. Let's press down. It gives you the A and the B again. We found that already through the calc menu, but it gives you it in the test menu as well. S, this is an important note, okay? S equals the standard error of estimate in the calculator. So, I don't know where to write that where you can actually see it. S equals standard error. So S equals SE. So this S, it's not a standard deviation. It is the standard error of estimate, which a lot of times you're asked to calculate, which is so painful because it's such an annoying little formula. And it's easy to mess up because it's so tedious. So this calculator will give it to you, which is really nice. It gives you the coefficient of determination, r squared. It gives you r. So you can really find everything regression in your test menu, okay? So feel free to always go into that and be more efficient that way. Let's see if this 84 plus has a confidence interval with regression though. So I'm going to hit the stat key again. And in these 84, 83s, intervals are in the test menu. So let's go down and let's see if we have a linreg int. And we do. It's called linreg tint and it's letter number G. Now what this will be, it will be a beta interval. So let's assume we wanted to find a confidence interval for the population slope, and let's assume we wanted it to be a 95% confidence interval. Again, your X list, your Y list, list 1, list 2. Frequency is 1. C level is your confidence level. Reg EQ, don't worry about it because we don't need it. Press calculate, it'll think about it for a while, and then it'll give you the confidence interval. So the confidence interval for the slope, for beta, the slope, is between 3.2882 and 8.5005. And what that means is for every unit change in the x variable, the y variable in the population is somewhere between 3.2882 and 8.5005. Again, this is a slope interval. Now there is a response interval that we often do in regressional statistics, but this calculator can't do it. If you want a calculator that can do a response interval, you're going to have to go with the TI-89 titanium. But this calculator does indeed do a lot, and as you can see, it has all the other regression information in there as well. If for some reason you're not getting your r and your r squareds, or maybe some of this information is lacking, don't panic. Your diagnostic is just simply not turned on. And real quick, how to turn on your diagnostic, you have to go to catalog, which, let me move this calculator where you can see it better. Catalog is down here at 0, so I'm going to press the blue key, second, catalog. And as you can see, it brings up a lot of stuff. And I don't know if this one can search with the alphabet, but I'm just going to press my down key because I'm kind of lazy. And I'm going to go down to diagnostics, so DI, oh, there it is, diagnostic. If you're not displaying statistics, and you know you should be, for example the r squared, your diagnostic is not turned on, and all you have to do is select it from the catalog menu and then press enter, and it says, okay, I'm on now, I'm done. And so when you go and you do linear regression, for example in this menu, it will now display the r and the r squared, where before perhaps it wasn't. Okay, so that's everything linear regression that this TI-84 can do. It can also do scatter plots and things like that, of course, but we were just trying to get the basic statistics. So if you have any questions, let me know.